So it appears there's a lot of new people to the channel. I really appreciate that. Thanks for everyone to help us get over 50,000 subs. That's pretty cool. We will throw a party in your honor. However, you're not invited because of COVID, so we'll party without you. Now, since a lot of new people coming in commenting about where we are in our pig operation, and a question I keep seeing pop up all the time is the discussion of our farrowing barn, why we went through all the effort to build a farrowing barn. Why don't we do like most pastured operations and just let them farrow outside? The answer seems obvious to me because of where I'm standing and of course where I live, but I realize through the issues, through the deficiencies of video, hello dog, you're not able to actually see fully the context of our land and the topography. So let's address this real quick. I love this time of year in West Virginia. This morning we chipped ice off the water bowls. I'm standing here in a t-shirt because it's hot in the sun, and it feels like somebody has got a freezer door open behind me. The air coming down this hollow here is so cold. Okay, so this piece of land you see behind me here, that is almost exactly 10,000 square feet, and I only know that because we used to have chicken pasture here, and I had to put a perimeter fence all the way around it, so I know how much linear fence feet it took to go around. This is by far the largest single piece of flat land we have on our entire 100 acres. So if I was able to farrow and make a farrowing paddock or pasture here, that would work. But unfortunately, my pigs are that way, and this is the very front of the property. The county road is right up here. And I use this for our chicken tractors, for our broilers. So I prefer to use the flat land for that and not have pigs tearing it up. So it'd take quite a bit of organization and the manipulation of how to move and when to move, farrowing dates versus when we have broilers, all that type of stuff. So that just wouldn't work for us very easily. So I don't know about you all, but when I think of pasture farrowing in the typical operation, I think of the Jordan Green style, or most of what all you guys do out in the Midwest, where you have these three-walled shelters. You've got a designated area, a nice flat area where the sows can hang out, but they go to that shelter to farrow, whether you have them group farrow or singled out, whatever. But you have this nice flat area there that even if the pig decides to not use the shelter, they nest somewhere else, then you can move that shelter over pretty easily. That's what I picture. Now that is not what we have the ability to do here, and here's why. So due to our topography, we have pig pastures that look like this, and I set the camera here deliberately so you could possibly see the angle of the hillside here. At times when I have the camera set up, it doesn't necessarily reveal the topography and the pitch of these hills, but this is a pretty good hill. This is one that when I was putting the fence in to go up our property line, you kind of have to hang on as you're climbing up to saplings and those type of things. It's that steep. If I turn the camera here 90 degrees, and you see it becomes impassable in some areas. It's impassable to climb this because we have obviously exposed rock face. So this is bedrock. This isn't just a big boulder laying here. This is bedrock of the mountain sticking out. So we have these type of obstacles that we have to overcome with pig pasture. So how does that affect farrowing for us? Well, historically, I'll detail that here next. So this area of pasture, this is one of our oldest standing pastures. Again, you can kind of see the lay. The building is sitting on flat land. And then you can see way down there is the barn. Of course, the mountain just continues up. And so for years, before we used this as a farrowing barn, our pigs had access to this. And Abigail, I don't know if you've been with the channel, you remember Abigail. She was our big Hampshire pig. She's no longer with us. Well, actually, that's not true. She is partially with us because she's in the freezer. But her last 2 litters, she would farrow right here. And you can see there's something about this spot that these pigs love. This is where this is where Merida still likes to come lay. In fact, here she comes for her evening nap, and she's a little ticked that I'm here. But they would come lay here, and Abigail farrowed twice here against down trees. And fortunately, I was able to keep an eye on her and keep the litter safe. But you can see there's just again tons of hillside. There's these little ravines that fall away. So if a piglet's not doing well, not staying with mama very good, then they're just going to fall away or even get crushed against a log. Just can't leave me alone, can you? It's like you hear the guy in the pasture, regardless if I'm trying to shoot video, and you want to come check it out. Look at the parade of swine. Mind your bed spot there, sweetie. So I don't know what the draw to this spot is, whether it's to the evening sun, whether it's the driest spot because it's on a finger, or whether it's just the vantage point. You can actually see quite a bit around here. Maybe there's some protection element to that. But this has always been a place to farrow, and it's just tragic, actually. Even if I was able to come up here and try to fence some of these areas off without a clearly defined pasture, without smooth ground, smooth topography, there could always be issues. Imagine if there was a fence right here to keep the piglets from rolling down the hill, then there would still be an opportunity for those piglets to roll into the fence and get crushed that way. So gravity is not your friend on a situation of an uneven pasture. So even one year when we had Hoss, who was one of our gilts that she never came into a standing heat for years, and I won't go into all those details, we did videos about it. We were finally able to get her bred through AI. She farrowed here, had a horrible farrowing, so this is still very flat, had a horrible farrowing. She didn't survive that farrowing. She actually ended up rolling down the hill against that pine that's in that little ravine, and she died, despite our efforts to try to nurse her. She was a 400-pound pig. She was tough to try to move. Out of that litter that she had, only 3 survived, and those are the 3 that we bottle fed. So this boat cracks me up. This boat has been here 20 years. Actually been here longer than 20 years. We've been here 20 years, and this boat's been here longer than that. It used to sit over there. And I turned it upside down and cut the back out of it. What would that be, the stern? And used it as a shelter for a while. Some of the smaller piglets would hang out in there. But I've just noticed that haven't been up here for a while. They've been wallowing underneath it, and have made a kind of like an indoor pool there. Interesting. Yeah, they were just wallowing right here at first, and then now they've moved further back. That is funny. So other than Hoss, one of the other outdoor farrowings we had where we had some loss was, of course, this has now been excavated, so this is flat, but this used to just kind of, imagine just kind of coming down into a finger there. One year, we were actually on vacation, and we didn't think Molly was going to farrow till the following week, but she farrowed while we were gone. And she farrowed right against a pine tree down there, and it was right on the edge of the hillside, kind of like this situation, but steeper. So she farrowed right against a tree, and 2 of her piglets just rolled over the hill, and they died of exposure. My buddy who was farm sitting, he came by the next day, and he's like, yeah, there's 2 down over the hill, and they're dead. So that was unfortunate, of course. Shame on me for not being here, but again, something outdoor like that just didn't work for us. So you can see, even here on this flattest of flat areas that we have, which technically isn't very flat, to make this a farrowing pasture, to allow them to farrow outside, they would still have way too many choices to go farrow on the edge, over the hill, those type of things. Or if I went to fence them all in, or if I decided to fence it in and make it tighter, then still with this slope there could be some issues there. So for us it just made sense to say, well, we've got a structure over here, let's go ahead and do what we can to make it into a farrowing barn. So if you looked at the spectrum of farrowing processes, everything from confined into farrowing crates all the way to, hey, just turn them loose and let them do what they can, I feel we kind of fall somewhere in between. So with our building, we have more of a controlled setup. We're not allowing instincts to necessarily be developed there. We're not allowing, we're not able to see the mothering instincts to build good nests and to choose a wise spot and to nurture her litter from that point going forward. So I feel like we're robbing a little bit from there, but we obviously got to do what we got to do. Now, on the other side of that spectrum, I know some of you guys give me grief about not using farrowing crates. I've actually talked to people that use farrowing crates in a pasture operation. It's just not for me. I'm not a big fan of that. They do have very minimal loss, of course, but that's a whole nother discussion. I actually did a podcast, interviewed an individual who was doing that, and I'll put a link below to that episode if you guys want to hear that as to how they incorporate farrowing crates into their pastured pig operation. So I'm having to adapt and do what my land allows me to do. I can't in good conscience, because of the history of loss and the history of just the stress that goes along with that for the pig and for me, it's best to have a confined farrowing operation for us. So that's why we take the time to build the farrowing barn and put all those infrastructure elements in place. Well, I hope that answers that question, clears that up a little bit. Again, I don't want to have to keep rehashing the same stuff, but I'm excited that new people are coming, watching the channel. I appreciate everybody that gives us a like and gives us a thumbs up and shares this. It's exciting to see new people come, ask questions, and hopefully something we provided. We've got almost 450 videos now, so hopefully there's something interesting in all that amalgamate of information that we've dumped out there. All right, take care, everybody. Scaredy pigs. You liking the hickory nuts?